Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell y'all something right now, and I want every woman in here to hear me good. Men always return to you if you act like you don't need them to. Now, I ain't saying play games. I ain't saying be cold or bitter. I'm saying walk in the kind of confidence that says, I know who I am with or without you. That's the kind of energy that pulls a man back every time. Let me break it down for you plain and simple. Confidence is the most attractive thing a woman can wear. It don't matter what kind of dress you got on, what shoes you rocking, how perfect your makeup is. If you ain't wearing confidence, you're missing the one thing that turns heads before you even say a word. You can be the most beautiful woman in the room, but if you don't know it, if you don't feel it, that insecurity walks in before you do. And let me tell you something, men can smell that from across the room. It's not what you look like, it's what you carry. It's how you walk in, how you look people in the eye, how you carry your energy. That's what makes people stop and notice. When a woman knows who she is, when she walks in her worth, when she ain't begging for attention or validation, that's a different kind of power. And that kind of woman, she stays in a man's mind long after she leaves the room. I'm telling you. Men might get distracted by looks, but they get attached to energy. And the energy of a confident woman is unforgettable. She don't chase. She don't compete. She don't try to prove herself to nobody. Why? Because she knows she's the table. Not just bringing something to the table. She is the table. You want to know when a man really starts to take you seriously? It's when you show him that you're good, not in a rude, arrogant way, but in that calm, unshakable way that says, I got me, whether you choose me or not. That kind of woman makes a man think twice about playing games. That kind of woman makes a man level up or leave. And you want that. You want to be the kind of woman that challenges a man to grow, not the one that makes herself smaller just to keep a man around. I've seen so many women dim their light, shrink themselves just to make a man feel comfortable. Baby, no. The right man will never ask you to get smaller so he can feel big. The right man will love your shine, but that starts with you loving your shine first. If you don't see your value, how can anybody else? If you keep looking to other people to tell you you're enough, you're going to be chasing that approval for the rest of your life. Now listen, I get it. Confidence don't come easy all the time. Life hits you, heartbreak happens. People you loved didn't love you back the way you deserved. But confidence ain't about having a perfect life. It's about making a decision every single day to remind yourself who you are, no matter what you've been through. Confidence says, I know what I've been through, and I still rise. It's that quiet fire in your soul, that grace in your stride, that peace in your silence. It don't have to be loud. It don't have to be flashy. It just has to be real. And when that confidence is real, you won't need to do the most. You won't need to beg, argue, or fight for a spot in anyone's life. You won't be afraid to walk away from anything that doesn't align with your worth, because a confident woman doesn't fear being alone. She fears being somewhere that diminishes who she is. Let me tell you something that might change how you look at everything. The man that's meant for you will not be intimidated by your confidence. He'll be inspired by it. He'll step to you with respect because he knows you're not here to play games. And if he's not ready, that's okay. You don't shrink. You don't pause your growth. You keep it moving, you keep building, you keep becoming, because confidence isn't just attractive, it's magnetic. And when you've got it, everything that's meant for you finds its way. That's real talk. Let me tell y'all something that'll change your life if you really let it sink in. How you treat yourself sets the standard for how the world treats you. See, people don't give you what you deserve, they give you what you accept. And if you don't respect yourself first, don't expect nobody else to do it for you. I'm telling you the truth right now. Self-respect is not just something you think about, it's something you live. It's how you move, it's what you tolerate, it's what you walk away from. It's what you don't explain anymore. You can be the kindest, sweetest, most beautiful soul out there, but if you're constantly letting people cross boundaries, lie to you, play with your time and your energy, then guess what? You're telling them it's okay. You're telling them, hey, I don't require better, so do what you want. And listen, I'm not judging you. I know sometimes it comes from love, from patience, from hoping that they'll change. But at some point, you got to realize love without respect is not love. Patience without boundaries is just permission. And hoping without action keeps you stuck in cycles you were meant to grow out of. See, when you respect yourself, you stop trying to prove your worth to people who never deserved access to you in the first place. You stop calling it loyalty when really it's just fear of being alone. You stop saying, I'm just being understanding, when really you're just ignoring red flags. Baby, no, that ain't strength. That's you forgetting who you are. And let me remind you, you're not here to be anybody's maybe. You're not here to be an option. You're not here to beg for the bare minimum like it's gold. You're a whole blessing. Start acting like it. People will only do what you allow. That's why your standards matter, your boundaries matter, your no matters. You ain't got to explain it. You ain't got to convince nobody. If somebody's offended by your self-respect, they were never planning to treat you right anyway. Let them go. Because the right ones, they don't get mad when you raise your standards. They rise to meet them. Now, here's where it gets real. Sometimes the hardest part of self-respect is walking away from what you wanted. It's leaving that person you love because you finally love yourself more. It's choosing peace over chaos even when that chaos feels familiar. It's saying, I don't like how I feel when I'm around you, so I'm choosing me. And that ain't easy, that hurts. But it heals, and that healing, that's the moment you take your power back. And don't let nobody guilt trip you for demanding better. You ain't too much. You ain't hard to love. You just finally showing up for yourself in a world that's used to you shrinking. You're finally saying, I'm not available for anything less than what aligns with my worth. And baby, that changes the game. That energy shifts the whole atmosphere around you. People start to step different when they know you ain't tolerating foolishness no more. And I know, sometimes it feels lonely when you're standing up for yourself, but that's okay. Because that season of solitude, that's when you grow. That's when you get clear. That's when you stop settling for crumbs and start realizing you're meant for the whole damn cake. You weren't created to be second choice, to be in someone's life just because it's convenient for them. Nah, you were created to be chosen, fully, completely, without hesitation. So I'm telling you right now, respect yourself so loudly that nobody can ever question it. Speak up for yourself. Protect your peace. Walk away from what doesn't honor you, because every time you do, and more importantly, you're teaching yourself that you are worth protecting, that you are worth choosing, that you are enough. Let me tell you something that a lot of folks don't want to hear, but they need to. Sometimes the loudest thing you can say is nothing. Silence, baby. That's silence, that's power, that's presence. That's you saying everything without saying a word. See, when you've been disrespected, overlooked, played with, lied to, your first instinct might be to talk, to explain, to plead, to beg them to see your worth. But let me tell you something right now. Begging don't move people. Silence does. When you stop talking, when you stop chasing, when you stop trying to force someone to treat you right, that's when they start listening. Or better yet, that's when you start hearing yourself again. See, silence ain't weakness. Silence is strategy. It's you choosing dignity over desperation. It's you understanding that peace is more valuable than having the last word. Because here's the truth. The moment you have to start begging for someone's effort, their time, their love, their honesty, you've already stepped out of alignment with your worth. Love should never feel like convincing. Respect should never have to be earned through pain. If you got to beg for it, it's not love. It's a trap dressed in hope. Now, I know silence can be uncomfortable. We're human. We want closure. We want clarity. We want to be understood. But baby, not everybody deserves access to your voice. Not everyone earns the right to hear your heart. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is just fall back. Let them wonder. Let them feel your absence. Let them sit in the space where your energy used to be. That silence, that's the echo of your value. That's the weight of your presence. And when it's gone, oh, they'll feel it. The problem is too many of y'all are trying to talk your way back into spaces you were already too big for. You keep explaining yourself to people who ain't listening. You keep lowering your standards for folks who never planned to meet them anyway. And every time you do that, you chip away at your self-worth. Every time you beg, you lose a little piece of your voice. The voice that should have been used to uplift you, not chase them. Let me ask you something. When's the last time you just sat in silence and let your absence speak for you? When's the last time you didn't send that text, didn't make that call, didn't write that long message explaining your heart to someone who already showed you they didn't care for it? Because I promise you this, the day you stop talking and start walking, everything shifts. You gain clarity, you regain control. You remind yourself of who the hell you are. I've seen women try to fix everything with words, trying to be understanding, trying to be patient, trying to communicate. And that's beautiful, that's mature. But it only works with someone who's ready to meet you there. If they ain't listening, your voice becomes background noise. That's when silence is the move. That's when pulling back becomes the lesson. Because silence does what words never could. It shows them what life looks like without your presence. And trust me, that absence, it hits different. You don't have to announce your boundaries. You don't have to scream your standards. You don't have to fight to be seen. You just stop showing up where you're not valued. That silence will echo louder than any argument. It will make more noise than any confrontation. Because real ones feel your silence before they hear your words. So stop wasting your breath on people who treat your presence like it's optional. Stop giving explanations to folks who already made up their mind. Your silence is not passive, it's powerful. It's you saying, I choose me. I protect my peace. I know my worth. And once you start moving like that, trust me, the game changes. Let me go ahead and say something to you that might sting at first, but will set you free if you let it. The best way to respond to pain, disrespect, heartbreak, betrayal is to level up. Not to clap back, not to send some long message, not to show them you're hurting. No, baby, you show them through elevation. You turn your pain into power and your heartbreak into hustle, because there is no greater revenge in this life than becoming everything they thought you wouldn't, couldn't, or didn't have the strength to be. See, people expect you to stay stuck. They expect you to fold. They expect you to fall apart when they walk away. Some of them even count on it. They leave hoping you'll break down so they can feel better about how they treated you. But the moment you choose to rise instead of sink, the moment you focus on your glow up, your goals, your healing, that's when you flip the script. That's when you take your power back. Let me be real. Revenge ain't about hurting them. It's about refusing to let what they did define your life. It's about showing yourself first, then the world, that nothing and no one has the power to stop your shine. And listen, leveling up don't always mean flashing money or showing off on social media. That ain't the core of it. Leveling up is personal. It's emotional, it's spiritual. It's waking up every day and choosing growth instead of bitterness. It's going to therapy, getting in shape, starting that business, reading those books, surrounding yourself with people who love you right. And the beautiful part, you ain't got to announce it. You don't have to post your every move. Your energy will speak for itself. The glow up is always loud, even when you're silent. When you start walking in confidence, when you carry peace on your face and purpose in your steps, people feel that. The same ones who ghosted you, played you, lied to you, doubted you, they'll start checking for you when they see you leveling up. That's just how it goes. But the point ain't to take them back. The point is they no longer fit the life you're building. You've outgrown the version of yourself that tolerated them in the first place. Let me tell you something from the heart. You don't need revenge in the way the world teaches it. You don't need to wish for their downfall or hope karma hits them. That's wasted energy. What you need is to focus on becoming. You need to become so aligned with who you really are, so tapped into your worth and your potential that nothing outside of you can shake you anymore. Because real revenge is peace. Real revenge is joy. Real revenge is waking up one day and realizing you're not even mad anymore. You're grateful. Grateful that they left. Grateful that they hurt you. Grateful that it pushed you to grow. That's when you know you've won. And I'm not saying it don't hurt. I'm not saying you shouldn't cry, shouldn't grieve, shouldn't feel what you feel. You should, you have to. But once the tears dry, once the dust settles, you've got a choice to make. You can stay stuck or you can rise. You can keep replaying what they did to you, or you can start rewriting your own story. Choose the rewrite. Choose the rise. Choose to level up so hard that even you look back one day and say, damn, I really made it through that. And let's talk about what leveling up really looks like. It's not overnight. It's not some pretty little montage. It's messy. It's lonely sometimes. You'll lose people. You'll outgrow places. You'll shed layers you didn't even know you had. But it's worth it. Every step you take toward becoming your best self is a step away from everything and everyone that ever made you feel like you weren't enough. There's a power that comes with progress, a kind of quiet revenge that doesn't need to be served cold, just needs to be served. Let them watch you build. Let them watch you thrive. Let them wonder how you did it. And when they come back around, and trust me, they always do, you won't need to say a word. Your life will say it all. Your peace will be the proof. Your growth will be the closure. That's the real win. That's the real revenge. That's the level up. Let me give you something real that most people don't learn until they've been through some hard times. Detachment is not about not caring. It's about caring correctly. It's about understanding that peace and power come from knowing how to love without losing yourself. See, emotional control, that's not about being cold or heartless. It's about being wise with your energy. It's about knowing what's yours to carry and what ain't. Because once you learn how to detach from people, from outcomes, from needing everything to go your way, baby, that's when you become unstoppable. People think detachment means you don't feel. Nah, you feel everything. You just don't let those feelings run your life. You don't let them make decisions for you. You don't let them pull you back into places you outgrew just because your heart still remembers the good time. That's emotional maturity. That's you saying, I love you, but I love me more. I want this to work, but not at the cost of my peace. I feel this, but I'm not going to let it drag me down. That's the kind of power most people don't even know they can have. When you're detached in a healthy way, you don't overreact. You don't panic every time someone pulls away. You don't lose your mind every time something doesn't go how you hoped. You'll beg people to stay. You'll chase after closure. You just observe. You accept. You adjust. That don't mean you don't care. It just means you've learned how to care without clinging. You've learned how to love without trying to control the outcome. You've learned how to sit in discomfort without letting it shake your foundation. Detachment lets you hold your head high when someone walks away. It lets you keep your dignity when they ghost you. It lets you say, I'm hurt, but I'm not broken. Because your identity isn't tied to who stays and who leaves. Your self-worth isn't based on how someone else feels about you. You stop tying your joy to another person's presence. You stop tying your value to whether or not they choose you. You start choosing yourself. And when that happens, you stop being afraid of losing people. Let me tell you something. When you're emotionally attached to someone who doesn't value you, you'll find yourself justifying things you should be walking away from. You'll let stuff slide that your higher self is screaming at you to stop accepting. And that's how you get stuck. That's how you keep repeating cycles. But the moment you detach, the moment you say, I see this for what it is and I choose me, that's when the cycle ends. That's when you stop reacting and start responding. That's when you take your power back. Now listen, detachment don't happen overnight. It's a process. It starts small. It's pausing before you send that text. It's choosing not to argue when someone disrespects you. It's taking a deep breath and asking yourself, is this worth my peace? It's creating space between your emotion and your action. That space, that's where your power lives. That's where your healing happens. That's where you go from being reactive to being in control. And trust me, when you master detachment, people feel it. They notice when they can't push your buttons anymore, when they can't manipulate your feelings, when they can't bait you into drama. That calm, that's intimidating. That silence, that's strength. That emotional control, that's magnetic. People don't know how to handle someone who's not desperate for attention or approval, someone who can love deeply but still walk away when respect is no longer served. That's when they start chasing you. See, most people are slaves to their emotions. They let their anger make decisions. They let their fear dictate their choices. They let their insecurities run the show. But when you're detached, when you train your mind to observe instead of absorb, you don't fall into those traps. You feel the emotion, but you don't become it. You acknowledge the hurt, but you don't let it lead you. You see the rejection, but you don't let it define you. And the most powerful part,